The Oklahoma City Thunder are heading into Brooklyn tonight on a second round of a back-to-back, riding a 9-game winning streak, taking down Orlando in the previous game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just dropped 40 points, even with multiple starters potentially out again tonight. OKC is going to be looking to be one of the most dominant teams in basketball, but tonight is going to be pretty interesting because this is a classic scheduled trap game, in my opinion. Road back-to-back, shorthanded roster possibly, a young Nets team with nothing to lose. So we're going to break this down in how OKC can kind of overcome those factors. First, the biggest swing factor for this is going to be turnovers. Like I've been mentioning on my previous, videos here, Brooklyn has been one of the worst teams in the league at protecting the ball since the trade deadline. Young roster, low chemistry, a lot of guys that are still trying to figure things out, and that leads to a ton of mistakes. And that's probably one of the worst possible matchups against OKC, because OKC is just, they don't just force the turnovers. They're also going to punish you for them. They turn the defense straight into offense better than anyone else in the league. Live ball turnovers, deflections, steals. That's really how OKC builds their runs really fast and in a hurry. So if Brooklyn even wants to have a chance in this game, they can't have a sloppy start to the game. This game could be finished by halftime if that's going to be the case. Secondly, can Brooklyn get hot from three? We've seen this before with a young team like this that's athletic. I know we've had a couple losses to similar teams because realistically, that's one of their only paths to an upset. The Thunder would have one of the best interior defenses in the NBA. Even though Chet is questionable for this game, you're still not going to beat them at the rim consistently. So if you're the Nets, you have to space the floor, take a huge volume of threes, and hit them. The problem is going to be from Brooklyn side. They haven't been a good three-point shooting team this season, and now you're potentially missing key shooters. They're going to be relying on a lot of role players, and they're going to just have to rely on pretty much outlier shooting nights from those role players. And if they're hitting, this becomes a game. If they're not, OKC probably ends up running away with this. Thirdly, Jared McCain is going to be my X factor for tonight. Previously, I'd spoken about Hartenstein, who kind of did what I said he was going to do. This is where things kind of get interesting. McCain's only been really playing 12 minutes in the last game. That's really not random. There's a chance that Mark Dino was managing his minutes for a game like this, where SGA could be getting some extended rest. And if that's going to be the case, McCain could have a real run at things tonight, where if he actually, gets significant minutes, he could produce over 22 points tonight. I believe 22 points per 75 possessions on elite efficiency since he's joined OKC. So it could be closer to like a 15 to 20 point game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 20 plus point game. And that's not really going to be role player level production for a guy like this. That could be legit scoring impact for us. And I think that'd be huge. So if he does get the minutes, finds a rhythm tonight, that could be the difference between possibly a competitive game into a huge blowout, 40, 50 point blowout. So let's talk about the availability. We're still missing J-Dub, I believe. Lou Dort's going to be out for this one. Hartenstein is listed as out. Chet is questionable. So OKC is not really going into this with full strength on a back-to-back. Legs could be a factor in terms of our shooting, and that could be the small, tiny little window for Brooklyn. But the reality of the situation is, even with all of that, OKC still has the best player on the floor by far. That's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. If Shai controls the pace, limits mistake, gets to his spots like he always does, it's pretty much going to be really hard to see Brooklyn keeping up with us offensively. I guess my final prediction is, if the Thunder win this turnover battle, which they should, Brooklyn doesn't have a crazy shooting night, and OKC should pretty much handle business for us, even shorthanded, even on a back-to-back. This is just pretty much due to the talent gap on both sides, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this pregame. I have a postgame from last night and postgame from tonight as well, posting tomorrow. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.